remember, we are expecting the focus will be on populist announcements. It is, after all, an election year. Will there be mentions of affordable housing with regard to rent allowances? Inflation should be the focus. There will be farmers. There will be infrastructure and other issues that could play a dominant factor. But of course, all remains to be seen what eventually the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman makes that announcement. She's expected to leave at about 9:15 a.m. sharp. Our colleagues are on the ground and will update us as and when she leaves, and if there is a photo op at the residence as well. But remember, eventually it is about the country's growth as well. And I go across to Sakshi for that. Sakshi, you know, whether it's about nominal growth, whether it's about comparing it to other nations, where does India stand? Because I also know Prime Minister Modi, apart from the usual announcements that have come in the budget, there have been pet schemes as well. Ayushman Bharat, Swachh Bharat, all of this has got a lot of focus from Prime Minister and the government because it is some of those pet projects that he has wanted to be highlighted.
Absolutely, Pooja. And when you talk about Ayushman Bharat, that has had many takers in the Indian population, especially when we talk about the lower strata of the society, the bottom of the pyramid. They have had a big benefit because something like this was completely lacking when it comes to healthcare security for Indian citizens for a large part of our history. And now that we have something like this, you've actually seen from the last 5 years or 4 years or how the allocation towards Ayushman Bharat has really escalated from 2.4 lakh crore rupees to now about 7.2 lakh crore rupees. It is only going higher. There is also talk that this time around there could be an even inching higher of the ticket size to even 10 lakhs of coverage that would benefit an even larger population from the current regime that we are looking at. Of course, this gained importance right after COVID-19 pandemic as well. And now, of course, there are economists, there are healthcare experts, there is the WHO that's constantly talking about more and more pandemics that could be frequent in the world as well. So something like that is going to be extremely important to provide healthcare security to the Indian citizens. And that is something that the common man will be looking at from the interim budget.
All right, so Sakshi now telling us this is, remember, going to be very crucial as well about the different schemes that could get a focus and how much of finance help, assistance that it will help get in this budget. Our colleagues continue to be on the ground. Aishwarya Paliwal, Piyush Mishra and Ashutosh Mishra also there with Rahul Gautam. But Sakshi, I do have a question here. When we talk of the schemes that are going to be getting a push by the government, whether it's going to be also about other issues, and for example, the PM Awas Yojana, because that benefits in many ways the poorest of the poor. And whether it's regard to at a time when they need help at vulnerable stages of their life, the Awas Yojana has come to the rescue. There is, of course, the affordable housing factor in that. Do you think these schemes is something that will add on to an election year? And if there is a relief that the people will get with it?
Absolutely, Pooja, and this is something that the government should be focusing on, because so far as the success of Ayushman Bharat Yojana that we have seen, the PM Awas Yojana has actually not had that much success. And to push it even further to benefit the larger citizens of India, this is something that the government needs to really focus on. Look at the trajectory. Of course, we have seen an inching from FY18 to about FY22 with the kind of expenses that the government really did for the PM Awas Yojana. It went up to 90,000 odd crore rupees in FY22 from about 31,000 odd crore rupees back in FY18. But there is a dip. As of now, there is an estimation that there could be a slight dip to about 80,000 crores. But that is something that we need absolute focus on from the Modi government. Over the last 6 months odd, you've actually seen the real estate sector really developing and showing some signs of recovery after a long haul. We've also seen the top of the pyramid really going big when it comes to, buying houses. You've heard headlines. You've seen news stories talk about how the biggest of the builders have been able to sell the, luxurious of the luxurious properties and flats, which are even crores and, 100 crores and above in just a single day. And that is something that is putting the spotlight on the gap that is getting created between the aspirational India and those, the haves and the have-nots as well. So something needs to be pushed as far as the PM Awas Yojana is concerned. This time around, there could be a clear focus in the interim budget.
That's a very important point, Sakshi, that you've made, because around us in Noida, Gurugram, we constantly see the real estate becoming not only just a prime focus with regard to builders or the government, it's something that's still getting sold out. Many are in fact still waiting to get their apartments in Noida and in Gurugram, but it is the low and moderate income citizens of this country who through the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana are able to get those benefits as well. And will that find a mention in this interim budget? Aishwarya Paliwal continues to be with us. Aishwarya, you tell us, because you've been speaking to the government officials in the Finance Ministry and to get a sense from on the ground as well. Do you think that when it comes to the middle class or the low and moderate income groups, that affordable housing or similar schemes that are some of the pet projects of Pradhan Mantri is going to be a focus that we'll see in interim budget as well? It is, after all, an election year, important one at that.
Well, definitely, Pooja. You know, if you remember that very small video coming out when Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he was speaking with all those people, with the family members in the city of Ayodhya. He asked them about all the schemes that they have actually, got. And one of the schemes that the woman of the household was speaking about was the fact that the house in which Prime Minister was sitting and sipping that tea was a house that they got under the scheme. So the government has obviously been pushing for all the schemes, and women, let me tell you, Pooja, is something that the government has been in focus for. And Nirmala Sitharaman, from what we are understanding, will make sure that the women get a lot of things, because that is something that the Prime Minister has been pushing for. The government through various schemes is making sure that women have money, women also have houses. All those things are being kept in mind, and that's the reason why over the past almost 10 years we have seen how most of these schemes are now making sure that they do have women. And we have seen in most of the places where Prime Minister has been speaking with them, he goes to the people and asks them what are the schemes that they have got, what are the benefits that they have got. So keeping all those things in mind, because for Prime Minister Narendra Modi and for the government, 2024 is the big election. So definitely we will see more schemes coming in, and we will also see the tenure of many of the schemes being increased.